So my dad picked up his 1970 Dodge Charger 500 back in February, and it needed a couple of things before we wanted to actually take it out on the road, and since the weather wasn't great, we had an opportunity to work on it. The first thing this car needed was a better exhaust. The exhaust was so restrictive, so we put 3-inch Flowmaster Super 40s on there from the manifolds all the way back. And once the weather broke, we had to take it out for a test drive, and this is what we came across. How's it feel? Good? Yeah. A lot of play in the wheel?
Really? Pretty tight. Ooh, what's that?
A little clunk.
What's the clunk?
I might just have to tighten down stuff. Oh, you're fine.
That's not good.
It's your rear end.
It's the rear end.
Yeah. That's your diff. I know what that is. All right, so we got the car up on the lift and took the rear end out of it because it was really starting to clunk. And we brought Terry, our friend of the channel, over to take a look at everything. He's really good at transmissions and rear ends, so he's taking a look at it.
All right, we got our carrier out now. We start to disassemble it. Upon further inspection, we found something. We had quite a clunk when we put it in gear. If you look right here, I'll stick my fingers here and I'll manipulate this a little bit. You can see the pin moves, so it's worn the carrier out. So every time you put it in gear, it would slam down, making a hellacious clunk. We're lucky to have taken this apart and got it to where it is now, replacing it with that carrier, because it wouldn't have been long before this one failed. All right, so we got our new carrier here, the Detroit locker, new ring gear. We're going with 355s. We're going to be adding new bearings to it. We're going to put a new bearing on here. We're going to be removing our old housing for the car. We'll clean it up, take it apart, and then we'll change out the ring and pinion and carrier. This also takes a plug spacer between the axles. So when you put the axles in, they don't have any choice but to stay where they're at. This will be a significant improvement over the old.
While Terry's rebuilding the rear end, we decided to start doing some work on the back here, cleaning everything up, sanding it down, and making it a little bit nicer. We're also going from 276 rear to a 355, so it's definitely going to get out of the hole a lot better. But after grinding it down, priming it, and then painting it, I think it looks a heck of a lot better. This is most likely the original rear end of the car. I mean, look at how grimy and dirty that is. It definitely looks a lot better now that it's been painted and everything, and we can get started on trying to put everything back together. Other minor stuff we're doing right now, the oil pan was leaking, so we're working on replacing that, as well as the power steering pump was leaking from every orifice, so we replaced that as well.
We had so much fluid all over the place down there. And I think I realized it was this. Look at that crack right there. And it's underneath. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a big crack right there. There's the separation. And I'll bet it was pouring out of there. So I went and bought an adapter, so I'm gonna cut it off and get this baby on there. It should do the trick. What a mess that made.
In working on this Chrysler rear end, and we've finally got the right parts. Things you should really know about when working on old units like this is there's a casting number on the housing. What this casting number will tell you is what parts you can use. So we opted to get a Detroit locker, but it doesn't fit this case. This is a 489 casing. There is a 741 and a 742. So if you're going to buy a different carrier, you have to make sure that it's actually going to fit the case you have, and your bearings are different too. So be aware what case you got, and read the fine print on the parts you buy so that it tells you what case it goes in. We ended up going with a regular posi. We had an issue with this case here with the new carrier, so you know what you're going to want to watch out for? The way they cast these right here, you're going to want to see this. We had a little ear right there on the edge of the cap coming out and hitting the casting on the new carrier. You can see we have space now. I actually had to take this apart and put a file to it right there and carve that away because the ear came out so far it was hitting. And as you can tell, we're pretty good now. But now we just got to clean up a little bit more, put her back in there, full of oil, take it for a spin, do a burnout.
Oh.
Well, now we're installing the rear end here. It's a paper gasket here, so we're just gonna hand ratchet these in nice and tight. We'll see if we got torque spec them. We had to change our yoke here. It was the wrong size. We got that fixed. Rear end's in the car. We're gonna put axles in it. Axles on these do require you to pack the bearings. There is a seal in the tube, so we're gonna have to pack the bearings before we install them. You can see the seal just right there. So the axle bearing on this unit is sealed off by itself. It does not get gear oil lube. And then we'll put the brakes back together, put the tires on it, and be good to go. All right, our rear end's together, drive shafts in, brand new U-joints, drum brakes are put together, axles are in, tires are on, filled full of lube. Now we're just gonna top off the transmission because we pulled the drive shaft lost a little bit, and we're ready to go.
As a kid, my dad always used to say, I better not be catching you going out there doing burnouts of that thing. Switching from a 279 to a 355 rear end really wakes this car up and still should cruise okay at 65 to 70 miles an hour with the 3-speed automatic. But it also makes him want to do burnouts all the time now, and he hasn't even put 5 miles on this thing to break it in yet. Well, after he did that big burnout there, something wasn't right with the rear end when he came back in the garage. I went to go take it for a test drive afterwards and immediately noticed a weird noise as I was turning.
So we had our Charger together and we took her out, gave her a nice drive, did a couple too many burnouts, I guess. We sent her a little too hard, so now we had to take it apart again, find out exactly what happened. Fortunately, when taking it apart, we found nothing wrong. So now we have to find out where that said ratcheting noise we had came from. I don't see anything wrong in here. There is no broken parts. There's nothing nothing's come loose. There's a little bit of metal in it, but unfortunately, when taking these things apart and cleaning them, you can only clean so much metal out of the housing. And it will create a little bit of metal because it's a break-in. You can see on the ring gear, we got the perfect lash. Everything seems to be torqued up good. I don't feel anything in the pinion itself. Axles are good, they're not stripped. So they're holding up. But now we just gotta clean her up, put her back together, and see if we still get the sound. But I don't think it's coming out of the rear end.
After putting everything back together and getting it on the ground, having it in neutral and rolling the car back and forth, it doesn't grind. We were suspecting the wheel cylinders or the wheel bearings, but if it doesn't grind in neutral, but grinds in gear, that means there's stress on the transmission through the drivetrain that is causing the grinding. So I think doing multiple burnouts before you warm up your brand new rear end, probably not the best way to go. So stay tuned as we continue to figure out what we're doing with this thing. And if you can't wait until the next episode, make sure to check out these episodes that we already have ready to go.